Hello, so I will be narrating a story that I've actually made myself. This story was made specifically to get your mind working a little bit. Anyways, I hope you can enjoy it. And heads up, I am actually fairly new to narrating, so I hope you guys could bear with me a little bit. Thank you. In the year 2030, May 17th, Dr. Yule has been observing the cosmos with a new type of wave. It was a new discovery for the human race to finally understand the best way to see details in space by using a wavelength smaller than that of an electron. It could record the smallest of the details in planets and stars, and could even detect life forms in other small sections of the universe. Of course, the only thing that he could observe were bacteria, but it was still evidence for life. Dr. Yule then began to look at the mysterious dark energy and matter that has questioned scientists for many years, and try to make sense of the whole dilemma with the new instruments that he had. These fluid patterns don't seem to move in any orderly fashion, Yule stated while sitting down in his chamber, situated 50 feet in the air. He was positioned at Arizona, the place with one of the least amount of light pollution, in which Yule took advantage of. Dr. Yule had always liked the warmth of the Arizona sands and would usually lay down in the sand when no one else is around his small facility, in which he funded with a few $1,000,000, which was obtained from internet funds. Dr. Yule was mostly alone in the facility, as most of the researchers he works with do research outside of the facility. But every day seemed to get no results, and the constant desert heat and tapping of the computer keyboards as he wore his cap to try and organize dark matter photos had gotten repetitive and somewhat meaningless. It was starting to get the better of Dr. Yule, and he began to lose the motivation to observe dark matter and energy. All this money and new equipment and still no results, Yule muttered as the stars around his facility glowed, giving Yule a sense of isolation and loneliness. Year 2031. Dr. Yule has been given the opportunity to try out a new supercomputer that was funded and had the total price of $352,000. It had an almost self-aware intelligence that it almost felt alive. Humanity was coming close to their singularity, but Yule was only interested in the stars. Yes, perhaps he is interested in using the computers to solve his problems, as their rising AI has proven to start solving physics on their own. But there are many regulations to know when it is time to begin mass-producing these AI computers. Yule was not in the field of computers, so he had no interest in the possibility of a self-aware, artificial, and man-made sentient being. The computer setup was assisted with 20 other electrical and computer engineers that Yule had requested to help connect the new instrument, so that the computer could piece together any patterns that perhaps Yule hasn't spotted himself. After 3 days of connecting the quantum computer to the monitor, which was the interface of the instrument, Yule finally felt a sense of intense motivation, in which something may very well be solved in the first time in mankind by the use of computers. After loading in the images, the quantum computer began to analyze any patterns in the movement that Dr. Yule had traced. The anticipation showed in all of Yule's colleagues, and they waited while they watched the computer's loading percentage. Yule had been waiting for most of his life to this very moment. His childhood dreams of revealing a groundbreaking discovery was leading up. He had memories of the suffering he went through as a student to try and fit in with the best of the best thinkers. All the times he skipped fun activities just to study about what mysteries humans have for the world, and contemplating if his lifestyle is even worth it all at the end were flashing in Yule's head. But here he is, finally getting the reward he struggled for. The computer had finished loading, and the patterns it showed were soul-crushing. It was so mind-numbingly pointless that Yule and all of his colleagues had stood frozen, dumbfounded and somewhat disappointed at the results. The quantum computer had compared the patterns to that of a brain synapse. What could this mean? Dr. Yule questioned. A brain. How could dark energy and matter possibly correlate with the synapses of the brain? Could this be a faulty mistake on the computer's part? Asked one of Yule's colleagues. I'll try and diagnose to see if there are any errors, a computer engineer requested. After looking through the bits of evidence the computer compared the patterns to, there was no doubt about it. The patterns of dark matter and energy really did have correlations to a brain and the synapses. It was a shocking revelation. Dear God, what did the computer just uncover? Dr. Yule muttered. There was a lingering terror in everyone's mind. If the patterns of dark matter and energy really did correlate with synapses, so many awful possibilities arose. Everyone was taking in the idea that maybe this universe may very well be alive. A living universe. One with sentience and perhaps a greater sense of awareness that measly humans cannot possibly comprehend, a cosmological superiority in a colossal galactic being that made humans mere specks of dirt. An existential dread of being just a small bit of awareness with no value. It was the hardest piece of information to take in for all of the researchers. This has to be wrong, Dr. Yule exclaimed. The idea of being so insignificant had crippled Yule's mind so much that he wished so badly that this experiment had never taken place. Hell, it would be better not to even pursue the science career in the first place if Yule knew that such an answer would be given. No, it wasn't an answer. It was a pure mockery of human significance. Wait, let me piece this together. So, if this were true, and the way dark matter and energy interact is correspondent of that of a brain, then there is a possibility that this is either a Boltzmann brain taking place right here, right now. No. There's no way a Boltzmann brain could possibly be created this early in the universe's timeline. This must be the works of extraterrestrial beings that have far surpassed human knowledge. Either that or this universe has been taken entirely different than any theory that we came up with. If there's even the slightest possibility of this happening, then what head could this universe be inside of? There were too many possibilities of what this could all mean, and Yule knew that the only way to answer such a question is to use a brain far more superior than a human's. The time was near when a computer could exponentially learn by itself and decide whether it would help humanity at all. How much longer do I have to wait for another computer to solve this? Dr. Yule questioned. He stared up at the glass ceiling and watched the blue sky slowly fading by. Perhaps we should see what substance this dark matter is and see if dark energy is in fact another type of wave, and see what thermodynamic properties it could possess. We could perhaps see if dark matter is another particle other than the quarks that we know. Dr. Yule then turned to Hans Berlin, one of the smartest colleagues of Yule. Hans, what's your analysis on this? Hans then answered with one of the most interminably horrible responses Yule has heard in a long time. Well, Hubert Yule, I have to say, the brain possibility could be the fact that there really is a civilization that had a far greater head start. Say, 1,000,000 years before us, the creation of Earth, there was a planet full of highly intelligent beings like us, who learned to develop a computer like ours that could exponentially improve itself, and given a few million years, it taught the being how to spread its territory over the whole universe. And in the process, they came up with a way to make their technology convert into dark matter and energy in order to be an infinite consciousness, and thus being the most immortal and perfect being in the universe. This was questioning for Yule, however, as he responded with, "Well, if this is the case, then why haven't they contacted us?" Hans then answered with a horrifying yet simple answer. "They just don't think of us as an importance, Hubert. Rather, they just think that we are bacteria, and our significance is far too small. Perhaps they know many other living planets, but we're far too advanced to even care. Like I said, they must have had millions of years to develop such a technology. Maybe the reason why they made dark matter undetectable by wavelengths is just to hide their technology to other potential smart planets like ours. So if this is true, then there may not even be a way to contact dark matter or energy. It will just move away, even if we find a way to move near the speed of light. But think, where would we be in a million years? If AI in fact becomes helpful to humanity and exponentially improve itself. Because the thing is, sentient AI is far more advanced to humans than humans are to bacteria." Hans did have a point, but that point was better off never being heard by human ears. It was like Hans had no emotions to existential dread and was far more stoic than any other living thing. Yule knew that he would be dead before he would ever see humanity in the stars competing with this superior race. And it hurt. It really hurt. Dr. Yule never thought about the fear of missing out, but his consciousness timeline felt to be in the wrong position in the universe. Oh, how Yule wished he was a fourth-dimensional being able to access all positions of time and observing the end of the universe. How he wished that maybe human consciousness was a little bit more significant than previously thought. "I'm going back home," Dr. Yule uttered with a sense of defeat. How long has it been since I visited home? Yule thought.